When life gets complicated, I try to remember the words of Thich Nhat Hanh. Letting go gives us freedom. If in our hearts we still cling to anything, anger, anxiety, or possessions, we cannot be free. But letting go isn't easy. This morning I woke up with a sort of foreboding feeling, almost a panic in my chest. I don't know why. I did some breath work, some cold exposure, and it was good, but it wasn't enough. I live on a farm with a patch of forest, maybe 20 acres. It's full of native species: oak, beech, chestnut, birch. A sort of island surrounded by a sea of pine plantations. Sometimes the pines invade, and when they do, I cut them down. Previous owner started to cut this tree down before I bought the land. He stopped because it's next to a power line. But now the trunk's damaged and the wind could take it down any time. My only option is to climb up it and cut it down in sections, or at least take the top off. And with the trunk damaged like this, well, it's not an ideal situation. I've been waiting a few years for it to heal up. I think it's ready. I think I am too. I can't get out of my head that somewhere around 3/4 of people who know they're on the verge of dying, they say something like, I wish I had the courage to live the life I wanted to. Others say I wish I worked less, or I wish I spent more time with my family. But really, they're all just different ways of saying the same thing. I didn't listen to myself. I didn't allow myself to really be me. Dying with regret seems like a bad way to go. And living that way, well, it seems worse. But it's not an easy thing to change. Fear is insidious, and it works in mysterious ways.
Alright, and now I'm getting up to the top of the tree. I don't know if you can see that. See the wind. So yeah, the wind's picking up. This is always the hardest part, right? I can feel my heart going. It's the hardest part because I gotta top the tree somehow. And that means I gotta take as many branches off as possible, get as high as I can, where it still feels safe. And where there's, just a little bit of weight on top so that I can push it when I cut it and make sure it doesn't fall on top of me, which, obviously would not be good. Look down below there. I don't know how high I am. I don't know, 70 feet, something like that. Definitely high enough to not want to fall. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna keep going for a bit, see what happens.
Fear doesn't just stop us from pursuing our dreams. It stops us in a million mundane details every day. From saying what we want to say, doing what we want to do, even feeling what we truly feel. It separates us from our bodies, from our emotions. You can see that clearly in the studies on PTSD. The body feels and reacts through the amygdala, but the conscious brain is unaware. The interior cingulate is shut down. And we're all somewhere on that spectrum, primed to avoid and react, irrationally, automatically, according to defense strategies that were vital at some point but now condemn us to repeat those old patterns, until we can somehow let them go. So we're all addicted to something, not just alcohol or sex or work. It can be passivity, aggression, self-deprecation, depression, anything really. Anything that can protect us from that old dark pain we're too afraid to feel. But this is like the monsters that were under your bed when you were 4. If you never look at them, they only get bigger. Somehow, you have to figure out a way to turn on the lights. Some people do exposure therapy for phobias, and it works for spiders or enclosed spaces or anything external. But it won't work if what we're afraid of is deep and dark, private and hidden. You need to do exposure therapy in your own mind. It's like what David Goggins called going caveman. Spend as long as you need to look at yourself, look at your life, and find the pain that you're running from. Be honest, but be gentle. Go slowly. And allow yourself to feel whatever it is that you've spent your life avoiding. Then you'll see that the monsters under your bed don't exist. But addictions aren't easy to give up. Our patterns aren't just mental, they're physical. We need to teach our brains and our bodies that we are safe, even in extreme situations. We need to teach ourselves to let go of our fear. This, as far as I can tell, is freedom. And it's one way, I think, to avoid dying without ever really having lived.